Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day during baseball week. Today, yes, I'm sporting a Pittsburgh Pirates jersey, and not just any Pittsburgh Pirates jersey. Number 21, Roberto Clemente, a right fielder that I had the great joy of getting to see play live. So it was the summer of 1968. And we lived that summer in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And there I was, a 7-year-old kid, soon to turn 8, but a 7-year-old kid in the height of baseball fever. My dad had played baseball through high school and college, and my dad was a big baseball fan. And so Dad would take me to Pittsburgh Pirate games. And I loved the Pirates. Bill Mazeroski, Matty Alou. They had a pitcher who had this dynamic windup named Juan Pizarro, lesser known guy. But of course, Roberto Clemente. Willie Stargell was good the first time around. He got good again a second time around later. And this was an incredible thing. And we would go to those games. And I remember where we would sit. And I remember feeling like I was part of the game. Now, I wasn't. I was a fan. But to some degree, I was, because baseball players know they're not playing in an isolated forum. They're playing in front of the watching world, the crowd, the fan base. And the more we could cheer, the more the energy and the more the momentum and the more, it was a family effort in a sense, with we as the fans being part of the effort. Now, why does that make it into my video thought for the day? It's because we don't live our lives in isolation. We live our lives in front of a watching world. They may be fans, they may be anti-fans, they may be disinterested. But don't think for a moment that the way you live your life is not watched and seen by other people. It is. It's one reason that I get hives almost when I see people who are embracing publicly a Christian faith, but who have hatred and venomosity and traits that just seem so foreign to what I see Jesus as exhibiting, that it makes me want to say, no, don't judge me by them. See, people watch us. Jesus said in his Sermon on the Mount that we're the salt of the earth, but we're also the light of the world. We're the light that's set up on the side of a hill. We're supposed to be a light that reflects God's love and compassion and goodness and righteousness to this fallen world. People are watching. The writer of Hebrews says that just like using a sports analogy, except there it's a race, that we are running this race in front of a cloud of witnesses. And so we're to run the race properly and carefully. And so within the framework of that, we are a people who are watched, who are observed. And we're not just observed by other people, we are observed by a holy God. The Proverbs speak of God whose eyes are in every place watching good and evil. And the Psalms talk about how God searches out among humanity. Don't ever be deceived into thinking that your deepest, innermost thoughts aren't seen and perceived by the all-knowing God. So here we are, we live our lives, and I think about passages like Paul, who was acutely aware of this, and he wrote to the Corinthians, and he said in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, he talked about how to those who are under the law, he became as one under the law. In a sense, to the Jew, a Jew, in order that he might win more people. He wanted to sacrifice his own rights at time in the way he might want to live for himself, because he was aware people were watching him, and he wanted to communicate God and Christ to those people. So, how do we behave? How do we function? I hope in genuine, authentic truth. But we need to do it recognizing that there are not just 7-year-old boys watching Roberto Clemente pick up a ball in the corner of right field and throw it without a bounce all the way to the third baseman, such that he can remember that, these 50 some odd years later. But we're in front of a watching world of 7-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30, 40, 50, 60, you name the age. And let's live a life that reflects well on who our God is. That's your video thought for the day.